Well, St. Bonaventure's had a really good basketball tradition. There have been great players there. They've had a great following. Played in a really good league. When I was broadcasting their games, relatively early in my career, the Atlantic 10 was really my beat. So I got to go to a number of games in the Reilly Center, and I really enjoyed it. It was a raucous crowd. The games were unbelievable because the league was really strong, maybe the strongest it's been at that time in the mid to late 90s into the early 2000s. St. Joseph's was an outstanding program under Phil Martelli. Skip Rosser had Xavier rolling. Temple and John Chaney were great. Same thing with UMass and John Calipari. It seemed like there was, in a good way, there was bad blood in the league. There were rivalries that really meant something. So when UMass or Temple or Xavier came to town, everybody knew there was going to be a fight in the Reilly Center, and it was that was one of the great destinations for a game. Wasn't easy to get to. Olean isn't the easiest place. I had a lot of chilly car rides from Buffalo to Olean, and staying in that Castle Inn where it seemed like the wind whipped under the door jamb every night. There was a price to be paid for doing a game in Olean, but it was worth it. When I was playing, Barry Munger was the best player. But after that, they've had at times really good teams because they had really good players. And their guards have always been good. I remember going to see Shandu McNeil, wondering, is that guy even 5'4"? He's tiny. And then Tim Wynn and Caswell Cyrus was their big guy. But all the way, Andrew Nicholson was drafted into the NBA and played in the league. Marcus Green, up until Mark Schmidt got there and got so many good players, including some really good transfers. So St. Bonaventure, has had, like a lot of programs, have had some really high highs. They've had some years where the team hadn't been as competitive. But, in today's day and age, for St. Bonaventure to build a program up where they're nationally relevant and not only an NCAA tournament threat, but threat to win when they got there, I think is really meaningful. The Reilly Center would always come alive for a big game. And it's not only well attended, it was really loud and gritty, just a really tough place to play for any opponent. And the primary reason is because the team was good. Crowds are one thing, but crowds can enhance things when the team's really good. And Jim Barron had some really good teams when I wrote that. But every time I would go to St. Bonaventure, it's not the easiest road trip for an opposing team. There are some difficulties in getting there, where you stay, all that stuff. But then you get into the building and play the game, and it's a difficult environment, at least certainly back then, to play. And the team was what made it difficult, but the crowd certainly added a dimension that you don't see at most places.